Don't touch equipment at an accident site until the investigators says go ahead. So the investigators could have started yesterday, but the incident happened in the afternoon stroke evening. So the first thing you do is to make sure you complete passenger and human rescue. Having concluded that, having accounted for all the 482, this morning till about afternoon or so, I think they should complete gathering their facts if we allow them to. We all have to live here. When they complete gathering their facts, they will give go ahead to the Nigerian Railway Rescue. You can see the crane is here. Unlike in Ashan where we use land crane, here we have rail crane. And the crane so far can pull this. And if need be, the state government had also or are making efforts to get some other contractors to bring bigger ones. So we cannot say when they will leave here. One, it depends on when the investigator says go ahead. Then two, how the soil terrain will allow the cranes or whatever. But in our own way, we don't think they should take this.
Yes, the strongest angle is not to blame the NRC alone for the June 8 derailment before the final investigation, but to question whether Nigerian authorities are doing enough to prevent a predictable pattern of railway accidents. The preliminary NRC report says a possible sudden wheel defect may have been the primary factor, while the manner of brake application may have worsened the accident. Importantly, these are still hypotheses pending on a comprehensive investigation. The accident killed 4 persons and injured several others. The bigger question should be, why do derailments keep happening? I mean, we've recorded this countless times. It happened how many years ago? During the time of late President Muhammadu Buhari. It happened during his time. That was Rotimi Amechi, then was the Minister of Transportation. And everybody was running helter-skelter. Now it is happening even in this present administration. Not like this is the only ones that have happened. This is where the authorities deserve serious scrutiny. Nigerians' own statistics show that derailments are not isolated events. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria recorded 101 derailments in 2018, 90 in 2019, 57 in 2020, 61 in 2021, and 65 in 2022. That means 374 derailments in just 5 years. That is huge. Nigerian National Bureau of Statistics proved this in their report. Can you imagine? That means I don't know what the authorities are doing. In my place, they would say, if you do one thing, they will say you don't know it. But when it now continues, the second one happens, it now becomes a tradition. So it is more like a tradition that we keep having, this derailment. The statistics should make Nigerians ask, if derailment is a recurring safety problem, why are we still reacting after accidents instead of preventing them? Preventive maintenance must be questioned. If the preliminary finding is that a wheel or bogie suddenly developed a defect, the obvious question should be, could that defect have been defected before the trail left the station? Modern railway safety depends heavily on preventive inspection, checking wheels, axles, and every other component before movement is authorized. The authorities therefore need to explain how frequently are coaches and bogies inspected? Are wheel defects detected using modern diagnostic equipment? Are maintenance schedules strictly followed? Are defective coaches implementally withdrawn from service? How much money is budgeted for railway maintenance? How much is actually released and spent? The public should not simply be told that a wheel defect suddenly developed. The investigation should establish why the defect was not detected earlier and whether there was any maintenance failure. This is not the first Warri-Itakpe derailment. This makes the June 2026 accident particularly troubling. In July 2024, several coaches of the Warri-Itakpe service derailed at Ujevu near Abraka. The NRC suspended the service temporarily before operations resumed. The NRC also reported another minor derailment at Okpara station in December 2024. So the question is no longer simply what causes this particular accident. It should also be what lessons were learned from previous derailments and what preventive measures were actually implemented. If the same railway corridor continues experiencing safety incidents, authorities must demonstrate that previous recommendations were acted upon. Because this is becoming a recurring decimal. Before you know it, they will say they set up an investigative team. They set up a panel to look into it. What do you do with the report that is being submitted? Because it's obvious they are used to the system. Whenever it happens, just set up. It's just like a template. Whenever another one happens, you dust the template wherever you kept it. Then come back to it. Just remove the date. Put the new date. Put new location and all that. And then resubmit it. So what do they do with the report that is being submitted for the previous ones that happened? Or are they sweeping it under the carpet? Apparently. Could it be that someone is cashing out big from this consistent derailment? That's a question we need to know. Because they will always say, this kind of incident, someone is benefiting from it. And that is why you see some anomalies that is happening in Nigeria. Many people do not want it to stop because they are getting and gaining from it. Part of it is the petrol subsidy that we are talking about. Another one is, the insecurity. Everybody will seem to be fighting, but hey, it is just few persons that are fighting it. Others, especially the elite, the politicians, they are gaining from it. And that is why you see them, even the refinery, they keep crippling every effort to ensure it comes alive. So I will not be surprised if someone is actually benefiting from this consistent derailment of the train. The problem isn't restricted to the Warri-Itakpe corridor. In May 2024, an Abuja-bound train derailed near Jere, with coaches leaving the tracks. The NSIB subsequently investigated the incident. Days after, another Abuja-Kaduna train derailed at Asham. The NRC attributed the incident to the removal of track fastening clips by vandals. This introduces another major question about government responsibility. When vandalism repeatedly threatens railway infrastructure, are security arrangements adequate? There was a content I did when someone was, these vandals was actually trying to vandalize bridges and all that, in the process making the bridge to collapse. This is also similar to that. Imagine vandals coming to, vandalize these railway facilities. It brings to question, what do you do to them? Are they just vandals or do they have a criminal mindset? It shouldn't be seen as mere vandals. They have ulterior motive. And if come to think of it, they take these things and they go and sell it for how much? The government cannot simply blame vandals every time infrastructure fails. If railway clips, bolts, and other critical components can repeatedly be removed, there must be questions about surveillance, patrols, access, control, and early warning systems. A 2024 assessment also raised concerns about maintenance and security compliance along the Kaduna-Abuja corridor, including warnings about vandalized bolts and the need for routine maintenance. Authorities must stop treating derailment as isolated incidents. This is perhaps the biggest issue. The government must answer the accountability question. The federal government has invested heavily in railway infrastructure and continues to present rail transportation as an important part of Nigeria's transport future. That means passenger safety cannot be secondary to service ability. A modern railway is not defined merely by new tracks, stations, and coaches. It is defined by the reliability of its safety system. The June 8 Warri-Itakpe derailment should therefore become a wake-up call rather than another statistics. The preliminary NRC explanation of the possible wheel or bogie defect may eventually prove correct. But even if it does, that does not automatically end the conversation. It raises another one. Why did the defect occur? Why was it not detected before departure? And were all preventive maintenance procedures followed? Let me get your take. Drop them on the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to get our videos as they drop. Till next time, stay informed.